First of all, the rulebook starts with a very important sentence, which is two competitors fighting against each other in a sportsmanlike manner. Why is this important? Because it will guide the referee, athletes, and coaches in which kind of behavior is expected from them inside the competition. In addition, Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art and combat sports system that focuses in a grappling with particular emphasis in the ground fighting, where two competitors fight against each other in a sportsmanlike manner. The objective of the fight is to win by submission, either lock, choke, or to win by outscoring the opponent. The competition is composed of throws, takedowns, locks and strangulations, ground techniques, control, improvement of position, as guard passes and sweeps. Jiu-Jitsu is founded on the concept that a smaller, weaker person can successfully defend themselves against a bigger, stronger, heavier opponent by using technique, leverage, and most notably, taking the fight to the ground and then applying joint locks and choke holds to defeat the opponent. All players must wear a special jacket, trousers, and belt, called gi. It's essential to the fight because through it we can use many techniques and strategies, as well countless submissions. All matches start in a standing position with a bow for the referee and to the opponent, showing respect, one of the principles of Jiu-Jitsu. The referee then signals to start a play, saying fight, and the contest starts. Once at least one player gets a grip, they are allowed to take the fight to the ground. My name is Alexandre Nascimento, Jiu-Jitsu head referee at JJIF, and I'm here in this video to help you to better understand our rule book and the rules of our sport. Let's take a look deeply in the whole rules book. The field of play must be covered by mats, divided in areas. The central area, we call it fighting area. It's where the contest will happen. Around the fighting area, we have a 1 meter area called safety area. Both areas we call combat area. In addition, we can have a escape area to protect the players from any movements that go beyond the safety area. It's allowed only one coach per athlete in a specific area right beside the mats. Coach must wear a team track suit or a smart dress. During the medal matches, the smart dress is mandatory. It's not allowed to him wear gi pants or caps. We cannot forget, coach is a role model to many people. Will not tolerate any kind of bad behavior during the match. It's permitted to him just give instructions to his athlete. If the coach communicates or it's disrespectful with the referee, staff, or opponents, the referee will stop the match and request to him to leave the area. If the offensive behavior persists, the organization will request to him to leave the venue. If the athlete doesn't fill all the uniform requirements, the match will not be started. Even if the competition has a control area to check all players, the last check belongs to the match referee. So, when the players are in front of the match waiting to be authorized to get in, the referee will see if the gi, in general, has a good quality, if it's not dirty, wet, or short. If, as a referee, I'm not sure about the gi size, I can ask for the coordinator to bring the measured tool and then check it again. Players with long hair must keep it tight. Players must have short nails. Female competitors must wear an elastic athletic shirt undergarment. For male competitors, it is optional. It's important for the referee to memorize all divisions and fight times of each. To summarize it, under 16 and all children divisions, the match duration will be 3 minutes. Under 18 divisions, the match duration will be 4 minutes. Adults divisions, the match duration will be 6 minutes. Master divisions, the match duration will be 5 minutes. Between two matches, the athletes have the right to rest at least one match time. If it's a final match, they will have 2 fight times to rest. The referee is the highest authority on the match. The result ruled by the referee is sovereign. We can overturn a result after the end of the match, only in 3 cases. First situation, misinterpretation of the scoreboard. For example, the winner was the athlete wearing the red belt, but the referee by mistake proclaimed the athlete wearing the blue belt as a winner. Normally in this situation, it's easy to realize the mistake and fix it in the right time. Second situation, when the referee proclaims winner the athlete who submits his opponent using an illegal technique for his age or belt division. For example, an athlete of under 16 division submitted his opponent through a straight foot lock, what's not allowed for his age, and he was proclaimed winner. So, to fix this mistake, the referee will bring the players back to the center of the match and will show the disqualification gesture to the previous winner and declare the right athlete as a winner. Third situation, when the referee disqualifies an athlete who used a legal technique for his age or belt division. For example, an athlete competing in an under 18 division attacked a wrist lock on his opponent. Here we still have 2 situations. Before the athlete taps, the referee stopped the match and disqualified the attacker. So, to fix this situation, the referee will bring the players back, score 2 points to the attacker athlete, and restart the match in a standing position. Other situation, after the athlete taps, the referee stopped it and disqualified the attacker athlete. So, here it's easier. Just bring the athletes back to the center and declare the attacker athlete as a winner. For all these 3 situations, before changing the result, the referee will consult the head referee about the rules if he was really wrong. Then, the head referee will consult the central table of the event to see if the brackets of that match already moved on. If not, the result can be overturned. But if the brackets already moved, we have nothing to do to fix it. Subjective interpretations of the referee on the awarding of points, advantages or penalties are final and not subject to change. For this kind of situation, we have the challenge system. Where the coach, if he disagrees with the scored points, he will stand and raise the player's card. Once the referee notes the coach standing, he will stop the match, ask the coach what his doubt, and request a video review for the last action only. If the coach was right, he will keep his card for the next challenge. But if he was wrong, he will lose his chance. Every player has the right of 1 challenge for the whole competition. In case of a medal match, if the athlete already lost his challenge, he will receive it again. In final fights, important or challenging ones, the match referee will be assisted by two side referees. They have the same power of the match referee to score points, advantages, or penalties. The only difference is the match referee has the duty to stopping and starting the match, to show the score to the table, to assure the players will fight inside the fighting area, and to intervene in the fight when necessary. If the side referee agreed with the match referee, he will stay seated. But in case he disagrees, he will stand up and show the score he thought. For example, match referee scored 2 points for a sweep. Both side referees disagreed, so they will stand up and show the advantage gesture. Then the match referee must remove the 2 points previously scored and score the advantage. It's always a majority decision, and the match referee must follow it. In case where there are 3 different opinions, the match referee will score the intermediate score. For example, in a guard pass situation, the match referee scored 3 points. One side referee scored an advantage, and the other side referee requested to remove the score. So, the match referee will assign the intermediate score, the advantage. In a match with 3 referees, when the match referee decides to disqualify an athlete due to a major foul, first, the match referee will show the disqualification gestures. If at least one side referee stands and agrees showing the disqualification gesture too, then the match referee will stop the match and disqualify the offending athlete. In case of a 4th penalty, first, the match referee will show the penalty gesture. If at least one of the side referees stands showing the disqualification gestures, the referee will stop the match and disqualify the offending athlete. If a match ends in a draw, the match referee will place both athletes standing in the center, facing each other. He will take 2 steps back, then will look to the side referees to confirm that they got up, and will step forward with the right leg. Then, all 3 referees will raise an arm to indicate the winner of the match. The competitor that received the majority vote will be declared the winner by the match referee. When using a video system, the 2 video referees will both be situated in the video replay area. If both video referees agreed that a decision should be overturned, one of them will contact the match referee with their decision by radio, and he will assign the new point as appropriate. It's a guideline that the video referees watch the match in a whole time. If they realize that any action must be reviewed, or the match referee requested to review by displaying a sign, then they will use the video system. It's desirable for the video referees to deliver their decision in around 15 seconds or as soon as they can. The match referee has the option of any point to pause the match and sign for a video to be displayed to give him an additional point of reference in outstanding of the previously made decisions. In case of a draw, the video referees will not vote for a winner. It's a decision of match referee or referees. He's the person in charge to operate the scoreboard system. He must have a clear view of the whole match. Video referees and secretariat are different parts of the staff, and they cannot mix their tasks. The competitors start facing each other in the middle of the competition area. The athlete with the red belt stays on the right side of the match referee. At the sign of the match referee, the competitors will make a bow, first to the referee and then to each other. The match starts in a standing position after the referee says fight. As soon as there is a contact between the competitors, they are allowed to go to the ground. The athletes can control and change between the different positions, but they must be active, always trying to evolve in the match. If the athlete stops to move or he is moving, but without trying to get progress in the fight, he will be penalized by stalling. Any movement that goes beyond the match area should be stopped. The athletes will be returned to the center of the fighting area in a standing position. The referee will use gestures to make the players follow his orders and communicate with the secretariat to avoid have verbal communications during the match, to keep it fair and clear to all people involved in the competition. Call the players to get inside the combat area. Start the match. Stop the match. Show 2 points. Show 3 points. Show 4 points. Show advantage. Deduct the previous score issued. Start the 10 seconds countdown for stalling situation. Issue a penalty. Issue a penalty if one of the competitors has no visual contact with the referee. Disqualification gesture. Readjust the gi. To remain within the fighting area. Instructing the athlete to stand up. Instructing the athlete to sit down. Issue a penalty when the athlete grabs the opponent's sleeve or pants with one or more fingers inside. Submission. Declare the winner. In a 3 referees match, stalling sign is for both athletes. In a 3 referees match, stalling sign is for one athlete. Double pull gesture in a 3 referees match. When the side referees disagree with the double pull guard, they will stand up showing the deduction gesture for the athlete that pull guard after. The referee shall say fight to start a match and to restart a match after instructing the athlete to stop. The referee shall say fight to inform the competitor about recognized passivity or stalling. The referee shall say stop to stop the match temporarily or completely in the following case. First case, when a competitor is working to establish a scoring position in the safety area, the referee will wait to allow the competitor to secure the position. If, after 3 seconds, the position is secured, the referee will say stop to stop the fight, award the points and place the competitors in the same position in the middle of the match, and then restart the match saying fight. Second case, if both competitors left the area in a non-recognizable position, the referee will stop the match. Then he will restart the match in the center of the fighting area with both athletes in a standing position. Third case, if 2/3 of the competitors' bodies are out of the boundaries of the fighting area in a standing position, the referee will stop the match. He will then instruct the competitors to return to the center of the match and restart the fight. Fourth case, if one or both competitors are injured, unconscious, or taken ill. Fifth case, in case of a submission. When an athlete taps, show other sign of submission, scream, or if one athlete is unable to tap by himself during a strangulation or a lock. Last case, the fight time has finished. Activities causing a progression to a possible submission hold will be awarded by scores. Defending actions cannot be scored. It's important to always observe where the movements begin and where they finish. Points shall be awarded by the match referee of a match wherever an athlete stabilizes a position for 3 seconds. 3 seconds of control is needed at the end of a sequence for points to be awarded. These points are cumulative. When an athlete is in a point score position while attempting to escape a submission hold, the referee will award the points only after the athlete has completely escaped from the hold and secured the point score position for 3 seconds count. But if the fight time ends before the 3 seconds stabilization, the athlete will receive a single advantage for all point score positions. When an athlete reaches a point score position while caught in a submission hold and then escapes the submission hold without maintaining his position, he will not receive any score. When an athlete is caught in a submission hold while in a point score position, the referee will stop the 3 seconds count. If the athlete escapes the hold or the match time expires, the referee will award the athlete an advantage for each point score position. This advantage will be awarded even if the athletes are no longer in the same position they were when the 3 seconds count was interrupted. An advantage point is counted when an athlete achieves a point score position requiring 3 seconds of control, but is unable to maintain control for the entire duration. In addition, any effective attempt to apply a submission hold on an opponent, creating a realistic possibility of submission, which is then successfully defended, shall constitute an award of 1 advantage point. When an athlete begins in a standing position, force his opponent down to a seated position or laying down, keep him at least 3 seconds on the floor, he shall be awarded 2 points. When an athlete forces his opponent to the ground to 4-all position or turtle position, he must keep at least one of his opponent's knee on the floor, controlling his hips for at least 3 seconds, and then the referee will award 2 points for the takedown. Any sweep attempt where the athletes stand up for 3 seconds will be considered a standing fight. If one of them forces his opponent down for 3 seconds, it will be considered a takedown and he's gonna get 2 points. In a single or double leg takedown, where the opponent lands seated and successfully apply a counter takedown, only the athlete executing the counter takedown shall be awarded the score. When the athlete starts a takedown attempt and his opponent gets a standing back control with 1 or 2 hooks in place and has no foot on the floor, the athlete performing the takedown shall receive the related score. When the athlete has a grip on his opponent's pants and the opponent pulls to the open guard, the athlete with the grips on the pants shall be awarded 2 points for the takedown if he keeps his opponent on the ground for at least 3 seconds, keeping the top control. If the athlete has a grip on the opponent's pants and the opponent pulls to close guard and remains suspended in the air, the athlete must put his opponent back on the ground within 3 seconds and keep the top position control for more than 3 seconds to be awarded with 2 points for the takedown. When an athlete achieves a takedown but the opponent returns to his feet within 3 seconds. When an athlete forces his opponent to the ground on all fours and tries to control his hips but fails to do it, then it will be scored an advantage to him. When the athlete forces his opponent to the ground in the outlined safety area and his opponent rolls out combat area, he's going to get an advantage. When an athlete applies a series of takedowns and the opponents return to their feet before stabilization is achieved on the ground, he shall be awarded with an advantage when there is no longer the possibility of completing the takedown attempt. In the situation where the athlete takes his opponent down and from guard or half guard he is swept, he will receive an advantage for the takedown and his opponent 2 points for the sweep. When the athlete applies a takedown and ends on side control, and his opponent turns going to the top control, only the athlete who applied the takedown will be rewarded with an advantage. When the athlete forces his opponent to the ground but he lands outside the safety area. When an athlete forces his opponent to the ground on all four position or belly down, and don't try to get the back clinch, stay in front of his opponent, he will not get any score. In case of sprawl defense, when the athlete goes to back clinch, he will not be awarded with any score. Any sweep attempt where the athlete stands up less than 3 seconds and the athlete forces the opponent back to the ground, he will not get any score for this. This movement will be considered a sweep defense. In a back take attempt, where the opponent has no foot on the ground, the standing athlete will not receive 2 points for takedown. Any movement starting from the knees, where the athletes stand and perform a takedown, shall not receive any score. A single leg takedown attempt, where the athlete leaves the match in a standing position, will not be rewarded with an advantage anymore. When an athlete in a takedown attempt from his opponent exits the match in a non-technical way in order to avoid being put down, will receive a penalty for this and his opponent 2 points. Once the athlete places his knee or shin over the opponent's belly or ribs, keeping the opposite knee out of the floor and facing the opponent's head, he will receive 2 points, no matter if in a straight posture or hugging the other athlete. After get the points, the opponent escapes from the knee on belly position. If the athletes get the knee on belly position again, he will receive the 2 points. When the bottom athlete escapes before the 3 seconds stabilization, the top athlete shall receive an advantage. If the athlete keeps the opposite knee on the floor, the referee will wait the action finish and then score an advantage for the top athlete. When the top athlete places his knee on the opponent's belly but is facing the opponent's leg. After getting the 2 points, the top player releases the position by himself and try again, or simply change the side. In this case, he will not be awarded again. When the athlete is on top of his opponent in a classic mount, with his legs free from the opponent's guard or half guard, with both knees on the floor, or in a technical mount with one knee and one foot on the floor, and his knee is not crossing the shoulder line, facing the opponent's head, and not more than one arm trapped, he will receive 4 points. Back mount is different from mount, doing the athlete laying down on his belly. When the athlete switches from one position to another one, respecting the 3 seconds control, he must receive 4 points every time he gets the position. When the bottom athlete escapes before 3 seconds stabilization, the top athlete shall receive an advantage. When both arms are trapped, or the athlete has his knee crossing the opponent's shoulder line, the referee will wait until the end of the action. Once the athlete on bottom escapes, the one on top shall receive one advantage. A triangle being attacked in a mount position is not scored with 4 points. The athlete sitting on the opponent's torso but facing his legs will not receive the point for mount position. When the athlete controls his opponent's back, placing his heels inside the legs of the opponent in a position to trap up to one of the opponent's arms without trapping the arm above the shoulder line, he shall receive 4 points. When an athlete controls his opponent's back and places his heels between his opponent's thighs, but trap both of the opponent's arm after there is no chance to get the back control points anymore, the athlete shall receive an advantage. Same happens when the athlete controls his opponent's back and locks him in a body triangle, or cross his feet over the opponent's legs, or place only one of his heels between his opponent's thighs. So after there is no chance to get the back control points anymore, the athlete shall receive an advantage. When the athlete controls his opponent's back, but he is unable to keep the 3 seconds control. Once the athlete got the back control points, if he loses one hook but keeps the back position, he shall not receive the score again if he replaces the hook one more time, unless he leaves totally the position. Definition of guard. Guard is defined as the use of one or more legs to block the opponent to reaching side control or north-south position over the athlete on the bottom. When the athlete in top position reaches the side control or north-south position, free from the opponent's legs, and controls him on top for 3 seconds, he shall receive 3 points, no matter if the opponent is laying on his shoulder or on his back. In a lasso guard situation, once the athlete passes his opponent's legs, even if he's still on lasso but is on side control, he shall receive the 3 points. If during the guard passing, the athlete goes straight to the arm bar, instead go to side control, but release the arm to get a top control position, he shall receive the 3 points. After any top attack, where the athlete finish in the bottom position and use his legs to avoid his opponent to reach the side control, it will be considered guard passing once he controlled the opponent for 3 seconds. In an inverted triangle, which comes from guard position, where the athlete escapes his head and controls the opponent's top position, he shall receive 3 points. When the athlete in top position reaches the side control or north-south position, free from the opponent's legs, but doesn't control him on top for 3 seconds, he will not receive the 3 points. During a guard passing, where the athlete is getting free from the legs, the opponent turns himself to a turtle position, the athlete's passing must receive an advantage. When in a guard position, the athlete turns his opponent or allows him to turn himself to the turtle position, as soon as he controls his opponent's back and keeps him with at least one knee on the ground, he must receive one advantage. In a spider guard situation, where the athlete reaches the knee on belly but with the opponent keeping his legs straight, he shall not receive the 3 points. After any top attack, where an athlete finishes in the bottom position and doesn't use his legs to avoid his opponents to reach the side control, it will not be considered a guard passing. In a inverted triangle, which doesn't come from guard position, where the athlete escapes his head and controls his opponent's top position, he shall not receive any score. When in a guard position, the athlete turns his opponent or allows him to turn himself to turtle position. If he doesn't control his opponent's back, he shall not receive any score. Definition of half guard. Half guard is defined when the athlete on bottom locks one of his opponent's legs, preventing him to reach the top side control. When an athlete pulls the opponent to half guard, or he reaches it by himself, and then this athlete recovers the full guard, his opponent shall receive an advantage. After reaching the half guard, the opponent swept or finish the time. When the athlete executes a takedown or a sweep and ends the movement in half guard after his opponent recovers the full guard, he will not receive the advantage, just the 2 points. Half guard position, where the athlete is not stabilized, or reverse half guard, will not be scored with an advantage. Definition of guard. Guard is defined as the use of one or more legs to block the opponent to reaching side control or north-south position over the athlete on the bottom. Any movement from guard position into a top position followed by 3 seconds control period will be counted as a sweep, with the athlete initially playing guard being awarded 2 points. Moving from guard to the back of an opponent on top with a 3 seconds control, keeping at least one of the opponent's knees on the ground will be regarded as a sweep. It doesn't matter if in a back clinch or in a back control. A triangle coming from guard position, where the athlete inverts the position and ends on the opponent's top after 3 seconds of control, he shall receive 2 points. Any movement from the guard position to a top position, where the athlete cannot keep the 3 seconds control period, will be counted as an advantage. Moving from guard to the opponent's back without controlling him for 3 seconds or without keeping him with at least one knee on the ground will be regarded as an advantage. When the athlete turns his opponent to the ground in the outlying safety area and his opponent rolls out of the combat area, he's going to get an advantage. When the athlete unbalances his opponent through a sweep attempt, but doesn't try to reach the top position. When the athlete unbalances his opponent through a sweep attempt, gets the top position, but sits back. In a 50-50 guard, there is no advantage for sweep attempt. A triangle, which doesn't come from a guard position, where the athlete inverts the position and ends on the opponent's top, he shall not receive any score. When when the athlete applies a sweep on his opponent, but he lands outside the safety area. In a sweep attempt where both athletes end up standing. When an athlete in a sweep attempt from his opponent exits the mats in a non-technical way in order to avoid being swept, will receive a penalty and his opponent 2 points. Athletes who are observed by the referee to have committed a major foul will be automatically disqualified. The major fouls are divided in two: technical fouls and disciplinary fouls. On this video, we're going to show you the technical major fouls listed in the rules book. The following technique is not allowed for under 12 years old division, but it is allowed for under 16, under 18, under 21 and seniors divisions. Submission is stretching the legs apart. So now the following techniques are not allowed for under 12 and under 16 years old divisions, but they are allowed for under 18, under 21 and seniors divisions. Choke with spinal lock. Straight foot lock. Forearm using the sleeve, Ezekiel. Frontal guillotine choke. Omoplata. Triangle pulling the head. Arm triangle. Locks inside the closed guard with the legs compressing the kidneys or ribs. Wrist lock. Single leg takedown while the attacking athlete has his head outside his opponent's body. Bicep slicer. Calf slicer. Knee bar. Two holds. The next movements are not allowed for any of the age divisions. Slam. Spinal lock. Heel hook.
Stop.
Locks twisting the knees.
Stop.
Knee ripping. Scissor takedown. In a straight foot lock, turning into direction of the foot not under attack. In a two hold, applying outward pressure on the foot. Bending the fingers backwards. Grab the opponent's belt and throw him on the floor on his head when defending a single leg situation while his opponent's head is on the outside of his body. Leaving the contest area deliberately when in danger to being submitted. Suplex takedown technique, landing with the opponent's head or neck on the ground. When an athlete strangles his opponent with bare hands, not using the gi, and with one or both hands around the opponent's neck or applies pressure to the opponent's windpipe using the thumb, or blocks the passage of air to his opponent's nose or mouth using his hands. When a defending athlete that's in a submission hold commits a penalty that forces the referee to stop the match. When an athlete uses profanity, obscene gestures, or show hostility towards his opponent, the central table, the officials, the referee, or spectators, before or after the match. When one or both athletes fail to take the match seriously and engage in a fake fighting. Knee ripping is characterized by the placement of an athlete's thigh behind the leg of an opponent while passing the calf on top of the opponent's quadriceps above the front knee while applying pressure from the outside towards the inside. Major fall. Severe lateral attacks affecting the knee are punishable by automatic disqualification when the athlete crosses his foot beyond the opponent's body line while he has his foot immobilized. When the athlete crosses his foot beyond the opponent's vertical middle body line while he has his foot caught in a submission hold. Minor fall. When an athlete moves his foot across the vertical middle line of his opponent's body while he has his own foot immobilized, in this case, the referee will stop the match, give a penalty to the offending athlete, return the athlete's foot to a legal position if possible, and restart the match. No fall. When the opponent's foot is free, or the crossing leg is under the opponent's knee. We don't consider a knee ripping. When an athlete crosses his foot beyond the opponent's vertical middle body line accidentally due to the opponent's movement, the referee will stop the action, disengage the players, and then restart the match. Minor falls are punishable by a penalty point. Once a fall has been observed, the referee should say fall and show his upward clenched fist gesture with his fists raised just above the shoulder height. Penalties will be given in 4 steps. First, penalty. Second, penalty plus advantage for the opponent. Third, penalty plus 2 points for the opponent. And fourth, disqualification. Fight. For under 16 years old divisions, referee will give the penalties in following sequence. First, penalty. Second, penalty plus advantage for the opponent. Third, penalty plus 2 points for the opponent. Fourth, penalty plus 2 points for the opponent. Fifth, penalty, plus 2 points for the opponent again, and 6th disqualification. The following actions count as minor fouls.
Fight.
Passivity. When the referee notes that one or both athletes is not trying to progress in the fight whilst standing for 10 seconds, the referee will stop the match and sign a penalty for one or both athletes, followed by the verbal command, fight. In case of stalling on the ground, the referee will point to the athlete, say fight, and start to count 10 seconds. If at the end of the 10 seconds the athlete has not moved, the referee will indicate the gestures for a penalty point. Passivity will not be noted when an athlete is on back control or mount position if all aspects of the position are respected. Leaving the mat or pushing the opponent outside the mat without a technical attack. When an athlete runs around the match area and does not engage in a combat with their opponent. When the athletes break the grip of an opponent pulling guard and does not attempt to engage in a combat on the ground. When an athlete grabs inside the opponent's gi top or pants. When he steps inside the gi jacket. And when the athlete passes his hand through the inside of the opponent's gi to grip the external part of the gi. When this situation occurs during a submission hold made by the athlete who is attacking, the referee will stop the fight, sign a penalty to the athlete holding the inside of the opponent's gi, and restart the match on a standing position. To put the hand or foot on the face of the opponent. To go to the ground without grip. To use the belt for any technique when the belt is not tied up. In the under 16 years old divisions, it's prohibited for an athlete to jump on close guard or attempt any flying submission while his opponent is standing. When this movement occurs, the referee will stop the match and restart with both athletes standing in the center of the match. Placing the foot deliberately inside the belt. Place the foot deliberately inside the collar. Placing the foot deliberately inside the lapel without gripping on the same side. Talking verbal comments or gestures with someone without medical or safety or uniform reasons. To disobey the referee orders. exit the competition area after the fight, but before announcing the winner. Inappropriate actions during the match or before the winner is announced, but are not considered for disciplinary penalties, like gestures of superiority, dance, and attitudes that are not unsportsmanlike, but are not severe enough for disqualification. In the case of two athletes pulling guard at the same time, the referee will begin a 20 seconds count. If neither athlete taking the top position or has a submission hold, and neither athlete is attempting to take a score position after the 20 seconds count, the referee will stop the fight, direct the athletes to a standing position, and give each athlete a penalty point. The referee will then restart the match with the athletes in a standing position. The first athlete who reaches a top position will be awarded with an advantage. In case of a submission hold during the double pull, the referee will stop the 20 seconds countdown. If the athlete gets the top position without releasing the attack, the referee will score an advantage to this athlete. If the athlete first releases the submission hold and then gets a top position, the referee will stop the fight, direct the athletes to a standing position, and issue a penalty to each one. The referee will then restart the match with the athletes in a standing position. If an athlete is getting a point score position, the referee will not stop the action after 20 seconds. If the athlete is unable to maintain the point score position and ends back in a double pull situation, the referee will stop the fight, direct the athletes to a standing position, and issue a penalty for each one. Then the referee will restart the match with the athletes in a standing position. In case of a non-double pull situation, the referee will not raise his hand to show he is counting the 20 seconds countdown. That's a sign that he saw one of the players performing a guard position before his opponent. When an athlete is in a point score position while attempting to escape a submission hold, the referee will award the points only after the athlete has completely escaped from the hold and secured the point score position for 3 seconds count. But if the fight time ends before the 3 seconds stabilization, the athlete will receive a single advantage for all point score positions. When an athlete reaches a point score position while caught in a submission hold and then escapes the submission hold without maintaining his position, he will not receive any score. When an athlete is caught in a submission hold while in a point score position, the referee will stop the 3 seconds count. If the athlete escapes the hold or the match time expires, the referee will award the athlete an advantage for each point score position. This advantage will be awarded even if the athletes are no longer in the same position they were when the 3 seconds count was interrupted. An advantage point is counted when an athlete achieves a point score position requiring 3 seconds of control, but is unable to maintain control for the entire duration. In addition, any effective attempt to apply a submission hold on an opponent, creating a realistic possibility of submission, which is then successfully defended, shall constitute an award of 1 advantage point. Submission. A competitor may win the match before the end of the fighting time if one of the competitors apply a lock or strangulation that makes the opponent tap or the referee stop the match. This is called a submission. Score. After the match time has expired, the competitor who has most points at the end of the contest will be the winner. In case they have equal points, the athlete who achieved the most advantage wins the match. If the score is equal, both in total points and in number of advantages, the competitor with the fewest penalties wins the match. Decision. If the score is equal, both in total points, in number of advantages and penalties, there will be a decision made by the referee, if 1, or all the referees, if 3 referees. The referee will choose the athlete who, during the whole match, get more times closer to a point score positions or submissions hold. Disqualification. When the athlete reaches the maximum of 4 minor falls or have committed a major fall, he will be disqualified of the match. In case of a disciplinary fall, the athlete will be disqualified for the whole competition. The decision, win by walkover, shall be given by referee to any competitor whose opponent doesn't appear for his match after he has been called 3 times over at least 3 minutes. Same happens when the athlete withdraws from his competition during the match. When a match is stopped because of an injury, the referee will stop the match, call the doctor, and starts the injury time countdown, which can be maximum 2 minutes per match. When the 2 minutes of injury time is finished and the athlete cannot return to fight, the referee will take a decision based on the following situations. When the cause of the injury is attributed to injured athlete, he shall lose the match. When it's impossible to attribute the cause of the injury to either athletes, the injured athlete shall lose the match. When the injury is caused due to an illegal action by the uninjured athlete, he shall be disqualified and lose the match. If an athlete loses consciousness or if he blacks out, the fight must be stopped and he will not be allowed to compete for the remainder of the day. When one of the athletes alleges to be suffering from muscular cramps, the opponent shall be declared the winner of the match. When an athlete vomits or loses control of basic bodily functions with involuntary urination or bowel incontinence during the fight or before the referee announces the result, he shall lose the contest. To be allowed to compete, the competitor must have his nails trimmed, his gi clean and not wet, tied hair, clean feet. If come to the attention of the referee that the competitor doesn't fulfill these requirements, the referee will stop the match and request to the competitor to fulfill them. In case of suspicious of skin disease, the referee will call the official doctor to check the athlete's skin. Use of any footgear, headgear, hairpins, jewelry, cups, or any other protector made of hard material that may cause harm to an opponent or to the athlete himself is forbidden. The use of joint protectors, knee, elbows brace, etc., that increase the body volume to the point of making harder for an opponent to grip the gi are also forbidden. Patches may only be affixed in authorized regions of the gi. The gi check will follow the sequence. The athlete will stop in front of the inspector, wearing the full uniform that he will use in the match. The inspector will check the patches, if they are all well seamed, made by cotton and fixed in the permitted regions of the gi. Then he will check the quality and cleanliness of the uniform. The inspector will check the nails and the joint protectors. Then he will check the gi size. Less than 5 centimeters of the wrist joint. Less than 5 centimeters of the ankle bone. Belt tip between 20 and 30 centimeters. Gi collar maximum 1.3 centimeters in thickness and 5 centimeters width. Gi top longer than the gluteus muscle. Sleeves 7 centimeters or more. In the female divisions, the hijab is permitted. It must be fixed and made with elastic fabric, without any hard material. Black or white collar is mandatory.